Countries in the Middle East have been ramping up vaccinations against polio. The push comes as an outbreak in Syria threatens to help the nearly eradicated disease make a comeback.
Polio resurfaced in war-torn Syria after years of conflict disrupted vaccination efforts. The Syrian government says it wants vaccines to reach every child, but the opposition accuses the government of depriving certain areas of vaccines on purpose. I talked about the outbreak with VOA Cairo correspondent Elizabeth Arrott. Let's start with some of her report.
Egypt has begun a new round of vaccinations against polio, one of several national efforts in the Middle East after the crippling disease recently resurfaced in war-torn Syria. Philippe Duhamel of the United Nations Children's Fund.
Polio is back in the region. This is terrible news for everyone.
Anxious parents lined up across Cairo as the Syria outbreak brought Egypt's immunization campaign new urgency.
That is why we are coming on the first day of vaccination, because this is causing lots of worry for many people. We are preparing so nothing like that happens in Egypt.
Elizabeth, this issue with the spread of polio, hadn't polio been virtually eradicated? And so then it raises the question of why and how has it resurfaced?
Well, absolutely, Alex. It had been in Syria eradicated for more than a decade. They had very good immunization programs, but they need many times the treatment to be done over the period of childhood. Now, over the last almost 3 years now of conflict, those immunizations haven't happened. And so they are very, very vulnerable, and particularly the young children. All of the cases that have shown up are among children under 2 years old, so obviously born after the conflict started and have not been able to get the vaccinations.
Can you explain for our viewers what polio does to the body and how it's spread?
Yes, and you're right, it's not just the West, it's only 3 countries that still have polio. It has been eradicated, and what it does do to the people in those countries where it still is, it's usually spread by fecal matter. So if you're in a poor country where there's not good sanitation, or in a war-torn country, as Syria is now, when people don't have access to good hygiene, they can pick up the virus, and it can prove fatal. I mean, it kills many of the victims it has, and those who survive are often very, very badly paralyzed.
Now, what's been the response among the people that you've interviewed inside Egypt? What is the level of fear?
People are just nervous when they hear about it, although I think there has been such a good mass mobilization over the years to eradicate polio, and it's been polio-free here for 8 or so years. So people have great faith. They do come, they regularly get their kids immunized. There is national days, and they go around to schools. So it does make people nervous hearing about it, and they just want to make double sure that their kids have their latest dose of the vaccine. One strain was found in Cairo sewers. Nobody has come down with it here, but the very fact that it is present has people nervous as well as the fact that there's so many Syrian refugees here, about more than 200,000, and the idea that it could be brought in that way as well, too.
In your reporting, you mentioned that there are people who actually fear the vaccinations and feel that they might be malicious. Can you explain that?
Well, yes, and that's the problem in the 3 countries where where the disease is still prevalent. It's Afghanistan, Pakistan, and Nigeria. And unfortunately, there are people who believe that this is a plot by the West to hurt Muslims.
And so what's next? What can be done now at this point? I mean, the vaccinations, but is there anything else that's in the works?
Well, the health workers are having to do a very big job in Syria itself. They have to negotiate to get the drugs into the rebel-held, the medicine into the rebel-held areas, and it's a very painful process. The government there has pledged to let donors get the medicine through. The UN man that I spoke to, he said really everyone in the region, from Iraq, Turkey, all the countries that are taking in massive amounts of Syrian refugees, really needs to make sure that they have their vaccination programs and up to date. And they're making a huge push, international push, to get these groups to make sure, Rotary International and other groups going in and just making sure everybody starts, because everybody has to be vaccinated. Or you have a window in which the disease can enter. The disease doesn't need a visa. It can slip and slide across, and if they find any group that doesn't have it, the vaccination against it, they're vulnerable.
And Phil, Elizabeth tells me that this strain of polio that we're seeing in Syria actually originated in Pakistan. And if you remember, as she mentioned in her report, Pakistan, along with Afghanistan and Nigeria, those three are the only countries in the world where polio remains endemic.